She lost her precious tech company on a very dark day. Her cruel ex stole the whole source code for his own greed. The harsh betrayal left her with massive debts and pending jail time. She had absolutely nothing left to her name. Her former lover laughed cruel words at her utter desperation. He claimed he built the smart algorithm by himself. She walked the cold, rainy streets feeling completely destroyed inside. The digital empire she built was now totally gone. Jail time seemed almost certain unless she found a quick miracle. The legal system was fully stacked against her case. A ridiculous marriage contract was her only way out now. It would protect her hidden assets from any seizure. She needed a fake husband who would never ask any questions. Time was running out before the final court hearing. She entered a shady internet cafe smelling of cheap smoke. The room was totally filled with noisy young gamers. In the darkest corner sat a homeless man typing quite fast. He wore ragged clothes and stared blankly at the screen. She boldly approached the strange silent gamer with a crazy deal. She offered him warm food and shelter for a signature. His name was Kael, and he agreed without any hesitation. He simply wanted a quiet place to play his games. They signed the marriage papers in a very rushed and secret way. Elara felt completely ridiculous doing this. She brought him to her small, hidden apartment in the suburbs. He immediately sat down and typed on his laptop. Kael barely spoke a word and mostly just ate the cheap noodles. His fingers danced across the dirty keyboard with speed. She assumed he was just another pathetic game addict now. She focused strictly on finding a way to save her firm. Her ex-boyfriend announced a global launch for the stolen tech. The tech world awaited the revolutionary product. Elara tried desperately to hack into her own stolen servers. Her access was constantly blocked by heavy firewalls. She cried softly in the living room, feeling completely hopeless. Kael paused his typing and briefly glanced at her sad face. The next morning, she woke up to find a bizarre new email. A top Valley investor wanted to fund her project. She had no idea how they knew about her hidden smart code. She suspected her ex was playing another game. Kael sat quietly in the corner drinking cold leftover tea. He seemed completely oblivious to the chaos around. She noticed his ancient laptop had a strange operating system. It was definitely not a normal software version. Whenever she walked behind him, the screen turned completely black. He claimed it was just a broken monitor glitch. She bought him better clothes, but he preferred his old, dirty coat. He was the weirdest roommate she ever had in her life. The legal pressure increased as her court date grew much closer. Her ex sent threatening messages demanding her surrender.
I can't do that.
She refused to back down, even though she was completely terrified. She swore to expose his massive lies to the world. Kael occasionally asked her random questions about security. She thought he was just making simple, polite, small talk. The recursive function calls the base case, preventing an infinite loop. And that's how we optimize for efficiency.
I see.
A sudden massive cyber attack hit her small private network. Someone was trying to delete her last backup files. She panicked and typed frantically to stop the aggressive breach. The attack was far too strong for her basic defenses. Suddenly, the malicious attack stopped completely without a warn. Her screens showed a perfect defense wall was built. She stared in total shock at the complex countermeasure code. Only a true master hacker could have written that. She looked over at Kael, who was casually eating a pear. He just smiled and said the Wi-Fi seemed a bit slow today. Suspicion grew deeply within her tired and stressed out mind. There was something very strange about her fake husband. The billionaire offered her massive legal support for free. He kept glancing nervously off screen during the call. Elara noticed the billionaire called her husband Sir by mistake. Kael was just sitting in the background eating chips. Her ex-boyfriend realized she was still fighting back against him. He decided to destroy her completely before launch. He hired dangerous corporate spies to track her every move. They followed her closely through the crowded city streets. Kael suddenly started walking her to the local grocery store. He easily guided her away from the hidden stalkers.
But how did you know exactly which narrow alleys to take?
I used to play street games here as a kid.
Are you sure that's true?
Absolutely. No, not again. What's happening? Fix it. You have to fix it. He realized there was a hidden trap built into the old system. Elara had secretly encrypted the master key. You fools. Secure her alive, or you'll regret it. Quickly and quietly. Elara was invited to a fake meeting at a smart building. She thought it was her final chance to get her firm back. Kael told her not to go because the weather looked quite bad now. She ignored his warning and went to the meeting alone. The smart building was entirely controlled by a central brain. It was a massive fortress of modern security. She entered the dark, empty boardroom feeling a sudden cold chill. The heavy steel doors suddenly locked firmly behind her. Her ex-boyfriend spoke through the ceiling security speakers. He demanded the master password to fix the broken code. She bravely refused to give him the final missing piece of tech. He laughed cruelly and activated the lockdown mode. He threatened to leave her trapped inside the vault forever. The air conditioning stopped, and the oxygen dropped. Help! Somebody help me! Let me out! Please, open this door! I'm trapped! Please! Her phone had absolutely no signal inside the heavy metal room. She felt dizzy as the thin air became hard to breathe. Meanwhile, Kael noticed her tracking dot vanished from his screen. His lazy gamer posture changed into sharp focus. He pulled out an old, chunky mobile phone from his torn pocket. It looked like a useless, ancient brick from the 90s. His fingers moved across the plastic keypad like lightning strikes. Lines of pure green code flashed across the tiny screen. The global hacker network recognized his digital signature. The legendary ghost known as Zero was online again. Every underground server lit up to support their hidden king. Kael bypassed the city grid to access the smart building. Inside the vault, Elara fell to her knees, gasping for fresh air. Her vision blurred as darkness slowly crept into her mind. She thought about her ruined dreams and her strange, quiet husband. She wished she had trusted his simple warning to stay home. Her ex watched her suffer through the hidden security cameras. He smiled proudly as he prepared for his press event. I stand before you, the creator of the impossible, the visionary of the future. My genius knows no bounds. The crowd clapped loudly for the arrogant and greedy thief. He believed he had finally won the corporate war. Back in the dark vault, Elara took what felt like her final breath. The heavy silence was suddenly broken by a loud beep. The central computer screen turned completely pitch black in a flash. A single white zero symbol appeared on the monitor. The heavy steel doors forcefully unlocked with a loud, heavy clank. Fresh, cool air rushed quickly into the small, tight room. Elara gasped deeply and crawled out of the dark metal prison. She looked up and saw Kael standing quietly in the hall. He was no longer wearing his dirty old oversized hoodie. He wore a sharp black suit and held his ancient phone. She stared in total disbelief at the powerful aura around him. The quiet homeless gamer was actually a digital god. He gently helped her stand up and wiped the dust from her soft face. He promised her that the nightmare was finally ending. The massive presentation screens glitched hard. The bright promotional video was suddenly cut off entirely. Fix this now. The system is crashing. Can't anyone do something? No, you can't be hearing this. This is fabricated. Stop this now. It's a lie. You're wrong. Turn it off. The recording clearly proved he stole the entire AI source code. It also revealed his twisted plot to trap her in the vault. The reporters gasped loudly and started taking frantic pictures. The investors looked completely furious at the huge fraud. The ex screamed for them to turn off the broken power system. But the digital ghost controlled absolutely everything now. The police suddenly stormed into the crowded conference hall. They had received all the undeniable evidence today. They aggressively handcuffed the screaming and crying thief. His fake digital empire crumbled perfectly into pure dust. Elara watched the live news broadcast on Kael's old phone screen. She felt an overwhelming sense of ultimate sweet justice. She looked at Kael and asked who he really was all this time. He smiled gently and put the ancient phone back in his coat. He revealed he was Zero, the undisputed king of the dark web. He controlled the hidden digital infrastructure of the world. He had grown tired of the endless corporate cyber wars. He disguised himself as a beggar to find true human peace. He chose to help her because she showed him genuine kindness. She gave a homeless man food without asking for favors. The top billionaires bowed to him because he controlled their data. He could erase their massive fortunes with a single keystroke. Elara realized her fake husband was the most powerful man. She felt incredibly foolish for treating him like a child. "I'm sorry. I kept it hidden to protect you from the shadows I inhabit." She hugged him tightly, feeling completely safe in his strong arms. The fake marriage had suddenly become something very real. The stolen company was quickly returned to its rightful owner. Elara was finally recognized as the true genius. The tech industry was completely shocked by the massive scandal. They praised Elara for her incredible bravery and mind. Kael deleted his Zero persona completely from the dark web servers. He wanted to start a brand new, honest life with his wife. The wicked ex-boyfriend was sentenced to many long years in jail. He would never touch a computer keyboard ever again. Elara and Kael officially rebuilt the broken startup together. They combined her bright AI with his flawless secure code. Their new software revolutionized the entire global digital market. They became the most powerful couple in the tech space. They moved out of the tiny apartment into a massive mansion. But Kael still kept his ancient laptop on his big desk. He occasionally played his favorite old retro video games. Elara would often sit beside him laughing at his silly plays. The billionaires still called him occasionally for secret advice. He always charged them massive fees just to annoy them. Their fake contract was eventually replaced with real wedding rings. They threw a massive private party for their close friends. Elara finally found the ultimate success she always dreamed about. She also found a true partner who would always protect her. The legendary digital ghost finally found his peaceful, warm home. He traded his vast underground empire for a simple life. Together they ruled the bright future of the modern tech world. Their unbreakable code of love would last for absolute time. The brand new smart system launched across the entire globe. Millions of happy users downloaded the perfect secure app. Elara stood inside her massive glass corner office. She looked down at the busy city, feeling deeply at peace. Kael walked slowly into the room holding 2 warm coffees. He smiled and handed her a cup with a gentle, warm look. They sat together on the soft leather sofa, relaxing. The long, hard corporate war was finally a thing of the past. The tech industry celebrated their massive joint success. They were invited to the biggest global gala event. Elara wore a stunning silver dress for the big night. Kael looked incredibly sharp in his custom-tailored suit. Flashbulbs popped wildly as they walked down the red carpet. Reporters shouted questions about their next big project. They smiled politely but kept walking toward the main hall. They preferred to keep their private lives completely secret. Inside the ballroom, the music played a slow, gentle tune. Kael took her hand and led her to the empty dance floor. They moved perfectly together in the center of the room. Everyone stopped and watched the powerful, happy tech couple. Later that night, they drove back to their quiet, large mansion. The smart home automatically welcomed them back warmly. Kael took off his tie and tossed it onto the sofa. Elara kicked off her high heels with a tired, happy sigh. They walked outside to the large terrace overlooking the sea. The bright moon reflected beautifully on the dark water. Kael stood behind her and wrapped his arms around her waist. He rested his chin softly on her bare, graceful shoulder. She closed her eyes and listened to his steady heartbeat. She knew she had found the greatest treasure in the world. He whispered softly that he would love her for absolute ever. She turned around and kissed him under the glowing moonlight. The digital ghost and the clever queen finally found true peace. Their beautiful modern legacy would live on forever.